Good morning. This is Dwayne, and I'd like to take a look at peppering your music using augmented chords. Augmented chords are chords based on a root fifth, root third, and a raised fifth of the chord. Let me give you an example in context. Hear that chord? That's an augmented chord, and it's used as a transition between the C chord and the F chord. Okay, I could play it without going to that augmented chord, but it makes it more interesting if I pepper my music with a few augmented chords here and there. Okay, so we're going to consider augmented chords today. Let me just quickly play through all the 12 major chords, and then we'll go to a web page where I have them listed, and you'll see them. So C major, C augmented. I'm raising the fifth a half step. F major, F augmented. G major, G augmented. D major, D augmented. E major, E augmented. By the way, that note is not C, it's called B sharp. If you wrote it on music, it would be B sharp. Okay? Now I won't get into the music theory reasons why, but it is. Okay? There's an A major chord, and there's A augmented. There's D flat major, D flat augmented. E flat major, E flat augmented. A flat major, A flat augmented. G flat major, G flat augmented. B major, B augmented. By the way, that's F sharp, isn't it? If I raise a sharp a half step, it's called a double sharp. And so it would be written with a double sharp. That you wouldn't call that G, you call it F double sharp. And an F double sharp, if you haven't seen it, looks like kind of a fat X. Okay, so here's B flat major and B flat augmented. So augmented chords are very simple. You just raise the fifth a half step. So let's go to the web page now and take a look. Hi, this is Dwayne, and today we're going to sprinkle some pepper on your musical meal through the use of augmented chords. And to do that, I'd like to take you to a web page that I wrote some time ago about augmented chords, because I want you to understand augmented chords really, really thoroughly. So I want you to read every word for word here. I'll read a little bit to you. There are four basic kinds of triads in music. There's major, minor, diminished, and augmented. And you can, C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, as you probably know. So C major triad would be every other note up from C. C, E, and G, the root third and fifth. A minor triad, you'd flat the third. A diminished triad, you'd flat the third and the fifth. But an augmented triad, which we're going to talk about today, you'd raise the fifth. Most of the songs you hear or on the radio or TV or whatever are written in a major key. So that means that most of the chords in those songs are major chords. Only, I don't know, 20% or so are minor chords. The other 10% of songs and musical compositions may be written in a minor key, which means that there'll be several minor chords within the context of the piece. So nearly 100% of all songs contain both major and minor chords. So what place is there for diminished and augmented chords? Well, they're the salt and pepper of a musical meal. In other words, major chords are the main dish, the steak, if you will, of a song. Minor chords are like a side dish of corn or whatever. And you'd never sit down to a meal of just pepper or just salt, would you? Same way here. Use diminished and augmented triads to add spice to your meal, meat and potatoes. Here are the 12 augmented chords, and you can see what they are. We're going to go to the keyboard in a minute, and I'll demonstrate on the keyboard what they look like and so on, but you can refer to them here. I would bookmark this page if I were you, so you can always have reference to it. So let's say you're playing Battle Hymn of the Republic in the key of C, and your first chord is C major on the entire first phrase. Okay. As you transition to the F chord on the word trampling, you can insert a C augmented triad on the word he is. It only lasts one beat, but it adds interest to the song, leading smoothly from the C chord to the F chord. And there's other places you could use augmented chords as well. Hi, this is Dwayne again, and I'd like to tell you about a little book that I wrote a few years back. It's called Piano Chords and Chord Progressions, The Secret Backdoor to Exciting Piano Playing. And it's a terrific resource about chords. If you want to know more about chords, you ought to latch onto this book. It's just barely over $10, $11 I think it is. And it covers all the chords and chord progressions that I talk about in my videos. It's just a great, it's not a substitute for videos, of course, but or DVDs, but it's a great summary, and it's so inexpensive that it's well worth your while to get. Here's a table of contents. You can just look down here and see all the things it covers. Starts out with major, minor, diminished, augmented, 6th, 7th, and on to 13th chords and suspensions and alterations, and then gets on to chord progressions and so on. So it's a very thorough book, and it's got a lot of illustrations. I'll just toggle through a little bit so you can, and there's the back cover. So it's worth your while to get. So hope you take advantage of that. Thank you. Bye bye for now.